Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm King Sway, and welcome to the latest edition of RPG Horror Stories. Oh, yeah. Close the door. Let me give you these dice rolls you've been waiting for. I was debating on whether or not to do my Barry White, but you know. But anyway, today's story involves an acorn in-game causing a real-life fistfight. And considering the fact that my go-to line is, "What do you want to do, fight me?" Or, "Have you ever tried beating his ass?" You already know why I picked this one. Let's jump into this. Long time worker. First time posting to this subreddit. I've been talking to friends more and more about my past with D&D, and I've come to realize some of my stories may belong here. So without further ado, yes, I said adieu, I shall tell the tale of the smashing of the Acorn. When I was probably about 13, I was kind of a social outcast. Don't worry, homie, so was I. Same age. As a remedy, my dad decided to run a 4th edition Gamma Hybrid campaign and invite some of the other kids to around my age to play. I'm doing something like that now. 5th edition though. This was my 3rd campaign, and I had a decent handle on what I was going to do. I was at the table of 7, 8, myself, 5 other players, DM, and sometimes, a co-DM. Most of the players aren't important here. The two we'll focus on are Brian and Jake. Brian was the group's warlord, a half dragonborn, half human. How? Okay, whatever. Yeah, okay, I'll skip that. It was his first campaign, and while he didn't fully understand okay, how the game worked, he generally had fun. Jake, on the other hand, is your stereotypical that guy. He had played a 12-year-old girl named Kuroneko, Black Cat, really, as a cleric, and described her chest in uncomfortable detail. He would also refuse to heal his down party, and ultimately would have his cleric abilities revoked by his god. But that's a story for another time. Seriously, cuz your name is Kuroneko? Okay, look, I speak a little Japanese because I watch anime and I'm good with the subtitles. But Kuroneko, Black Cat, and half dragonborn, half human. Yeah, this one's the longest one I've done, but we gonna jump right into this one. So, as an in-game story reward, the DM gave Jay an enchanted acorn. He told Jay that with a bit of love and care, it would grow into a woodland sprite and would do his bidding. Jake was very excited. So he was so excited, in fact, that he rubbed his acorn in everybody's face. Okay, that's not where I thought he was going to be rubbing it. And just about everything, for about 3 weeks. He was insufferable, but was also hurting anyone, so I mostly ignored it. Meeting an NPC, I praised the acorn. In a dungeon, waste a turn in combat worrying about the acorn. Taking a short rest, I want to take an extra hour to sink to the acorn. Brian eventually had enough of this. DM called a pickpocket check, and the acorn now in hand, Brian threw it on the ground and smashed it in with his foot. Jake did not like this. Jake immediately stood up and physically punched Brian in the face. It was not a gentle punch, but he had a bruise for weeks to come. Brian wasn't expecting a physical assault and threw his arms up while Jay readied for another punch. The DM immediately stepped in, grabbed Jay by the arm, and yanked him back. I got Brian ice for his face while the DM had to take Jay outside. I'm sorry. Just, for probably 15 minutes. It was just a 5-teenager sitting there alone at the table, and then the DM escorted Jay back in. Lengthy remain in the game. Lengthy conversation about assault charges and player conduct followed, but ultimately, Jay was allowed to remain in the game. Looking back, I 100% should have pushed for his removal, but being one of the 2 women in the group, and being the youngest in the group, I didn't really feel comfortable speaking up at the time. The moral of the story? Don't be an obnoxious asshat if you aren't willing to pay the price. You guys can see the TLDR and the extra credit, or I said the extra credit. the edit, the clarity, for clarity in the full roster, and how OP it was, rather, the 15-year-old female, and her dad was the DM, and the co-DMs were the parents of the kids. But what we is now, yeah, I did that on purpose, is we're going to jump into my little TED talk here. So I don't know why I call it that. I just do. But that's when we're about to jump into that right now. Okay, first and foremost, I want to say, normally I when somebody does something and it's so in my personal opinion, it's so profoundly stupid, I go, you ever try beating their ass? Well, I guess someone took my advice to heart. Well, I can't say that, I don't know how old OP is now, but at the time they were 13. But dude got punched in his face. I can't say that I haven't seen that happen. Nor can I say that I haven't done something like that. Because I have. You get upset with a player because they do something so profoundly offensive that you incite physical violence upon them. I've done it. I mean, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying I've done it. And just like in OP's story, yeah, we kept playing. We talked to that. It was a different time than what it is today, because I'm pretty sure if somebody punches somebody else in the face today, that all hell's breaking loose. But what they could have done is they could have addressed the subject. Hey, no one cares about the Acorn. Can you, you're being really obnoxious about it. Can you please stop? Nobody tried that. They just went straight to violence. Well, no, nobody tried that. They went straight to pickpocketing and smashing. That, in turn, ensued the violence. But you got to take the time to consider, why would this person want to pickpocket you, to smash it in front of you for maximum effect of hurting you emotionally? What did you do? And that's a point where you got to do some self-reflection and go, okay, this is what I did wrong. I'm taking accountability for it. But they're teenagers, so I highly doubt they're doing that. Because let's be honest, how many adults do you know do that? Okay then. But I'm glad that well, at least to what it was at the end, that the situation was diffused. I hope that apologies would have been made. Yeah, dude, I'm sorry. I don't, at the very least, or explanation, and they talked it out. Why'd you do that? Dude, you've been being a dick about this Acorn the whole time, putting in everybody's face like this. Nobody cares about your Acorn. I get it. It's precious to you, but that's it. It's just precious to you. And, let them talk it out. Or at least I think that's what it should have happened. But as I said, it's in the past. And that's just my 2 cents on the matter, because as I said, I've incited physical violence upon somebody for doing something in game. But I was an old teenager. I was like 18, 19, or maybe even 20. Yeah, it was a while ago. But now this is what I would have done. Don't get me wrong. I still throw hands. I will still throw hands. But that's only if it need be. If you do something dickish to me in game, I'm going to return the favor with something dickish to you in game. I'm not going to, unless, as I've stated before, I'm not going to incite violence upon you unless I feel as though you're purposely trying to screw me over, and then I'm going to do something, and then I'm going to look at you like, what do you want to do? But hopefully it's in anybody's game. Well, I can't. Well, we all know this doesn't happen. I was going to say, hopefully in anybody's game it doesn't come to that. But considering the premise of the stories I tell, and some of the stories I'm pretty sure you guys out there have, sometimes it does come to that, which I am sorry for. But that's the end of my TED Talk. For those of you that are new to the channel and you like the story, think about liking and subscribing. Stick around. Pull up a share. Roll the dice. Tell your own story. We'll listen. For those of you that are not new to the channel, think about liking and subscribing. You already got your share. And why aren't you sharing your stories? Come on, we got comments. If you've been around for a while, you know I love listening, or I said listening, reading the comments and interacting with you guys. Do it. This is a small gesture for you guys, but it means the absolute friggin' world to me. And that is because it lets me know you guys are liking my content. It also lets YouTube know. I keep wanting to say Facebook. I don't know why. But it lets YouTube know that people out there liking my content. And they push it out there to other people. As I keep commenting, and the guys that are still here, if you guys are still subscribed, the people that come and say, I don't know how you ended up in my recommended, but I'm glad I listened to you. This is pretty cool. For those of you that come to me, I do read those comments. I do respond, and I thank you profusely. Profound love from me to you. I'm rambling on. I do apologize. But I'm going to end it here. I'm King Sway. And I will see you guys in the next one. I'll catch you later.